Hello and welcome to the grand revision session. I know your half-yearly exam is approaching in the month of September. You feel as if you have read the chapters, or maybe tomorrow is your exam, because that's what children do while preparing the subject. They just start reading the chapters the night before. So kindly check my YouTube videos. You'll get detailed analysis of all the chapters, and this is a revision session for you wherein I will tell you all the important questions from individual chapter. Just close your eyes, listen to the questions and see whether you know the answers or not. And I would recommend that before seeing this video, see the detailed description of all the chapters which are coming in your half-yearly exam, which you will find in my YouTube channel. Once you are done with all the description and you have understood the chapter, now it's the time to ensure whether you have a good grip over the chapters. So just listen to the questions and just see whether you know the answers or not. Starting with chapter 1, that is last lesson. Let's see the questions possible and just analyze yourself whether you know the answers. First question: why was Franz late for the school that morning? I'll tell you the answers also so that you can ensure whether you know the answer or whatever you know is correct or not. So Franz was late for the school that morning because first thing, he hadn't prepared participles, so he was reluctant to go to school. And other than that, the climate outside was very tempting. The chirruping of the birds, the drilling of the Prussian soldiers tempted him to stay away from the school. Okay. The second question is, yes, very important. What were the unusual things that Franz observed that day? This is a very important question which frequently appears in board exam. So I'll tell you the answer, and the answer should be written in the same chronological sequence as it happened. Okay, so I'll tell you what exactly happened. When Franz was about to reach the school, he was amazed and shocked because first, there was no hustle bustle, no sound of lessons being repeated in unison, no sound of teacher's great ruler rapping on table. It was as quiet as if it was a Sunday morning. He was late for the school and he thought that he would be scolded by the teacher, but contrary to his expectation, he was welcomed inside very politely. The dress that M. Hamill was wearing, that dress he usually wore on prize days and inspections. And the back benches which usually remained empty were occupied by village elders. So these were the unusual things that Franz observed that day in the same chronological sequence. You have to write these things. Next question. These words were a thunderclap to me. What were the words? So this was said by Franz. The words were: an order had come from Berlin that only German should be taught in the schools of Elsac and Lorraine. What change in attitude came about in Franz after listening to the words of M. Hamill? The change that came about in Franz was the teacher who appeared cranky to him was appearing very good. The history books which appeared as burden were appearing as old friends whom he never wanted to leave. The next question can be, whom did M. Hamill blame for postponing of learning? M. Hamill blamed the students, not only the students, he also blamed himself. He said that there were times when he had sent the children off, he had given them off because he wanted to do fishing. Wherever he wanted to take care of his garden, he did not pay so much heed to teaching. He also blamed the parents because there were times wherein the parents had sent the children to work on farms and mills rather than telling them to study. The next question can be, what did M. Hamill say about French language? M. Hamill said that the French language is the most beautiful and the most logical language in the world. And he also said that as long as you hold fast to your language, it is as if you have the key to the prison. We find glimpses of linguistic chauvinism here. What is linguistic chauvinism? Linguistic chauvinism is a belief that defines or that says that my language is superior to the language of others. Will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? Who said this and why? This was said by Franz in a sarcastic tone, and this shows the level of frustration he had. He was so frustrated and annoyed at the decision that had come from Germany that he said that remark. The next question can be, how did M. Hamill bid farewell to the students? M. Hamel couldn't speak anything, his throat choked, and he simply wrote Vive la France on the board, which said Long live France, and he made a gesture for the class to be dismissed. So these are the probable questions that can be asked from this chapter. Apart from these, kindly ensure that you are aware with all the NCERT questions, because that's always important for your board exam preparations. Let's move to the next chapter, that is Law Spring. You can also note the questions if you find them difficult to comprehend. Okay, important questions from Law Spring. Who was Sahib? Sahib, whose full name was Sahib-e-Alam, was a rag picker in Simapuri. He had come from Dhaka, Bangladesh. What promise did narrator make to Sahib? Narrator casually promised Sahib that she would be building a school for Sahib. Promises like mine abound in every corner of this bleak world. Who said this and why? This statement was spoken by narrator because she casually made a promise to Sahib that she would be building a school. Sahib took it very seriously, and Sahib came to her asking that was the school ready, and she was embarrassed. Explain the irony in the name of Sahib. Sahib's name is Sahib-e-Alam, which means Lord of Universe, which is contradictory to his life. He is not able to get 2 meals a day, and his name means Lord of the Universe. What justification did the children give for not wearing chappals? Somebody told that the mother did not take them off from the shelf. Somebody told that it's a tradition to remain barefoot. Actually, this was just excuses to explain their perpetual state of poverty. Next question can be, what change has come about in the life of priests? So the life of priests has changed in such a way that the children of priests now have footwear, but the rag pickers still remain in the same state of poverty. Then, Simapuri, a place situated on the periphery of Delhi yet miles away from it metaphorically. Explain. Simapuri कहने को तो दिल्ली की बाउंड्री पे situated है. Delhi is the capital of the country, known for its luxurious life, for sophistication, exquisite people. But Simapuri is way contradictory to this. Next question. Food is more important for survival than identity. Who said this? So the rag pickers of Simapuri said this because although they are not having an Aadhaar card, but they have ration cards which provides them food, and that is more important for them. Somebody asked them that why did they leave Dhaka? That was so beautiful. And the women said that if we can sleep without our aching stomachs, that's the most important thing. जब तक आपको खाना नहीं मिल रहा है तो प्राकृतिक सौंदर्य को आप कभी enjoy नहीं कर सकते. Garbage to them is gold. Explain. Yes, because garbage is their daily means of survival. Whatever they are doing in their life is just because of the garbage. For children it is wrapped in wonder. For adults it is means of survival. बच्चों के लिए जो rag picking है ये wonder है, surprise है कि आज क्या मिलेगा. और बड़ों के लिए ये केवल एक means of survival है. उनको पता है कि ये उनका शौक नहीं है, ये उनकी मजबूरी है. What happened when Sahib was standing seeing the tennis game? Sahib was seeing the tennis game and he knew very well that the game was out of his reach. He was wearing footwear that had hole in them and that looked, tennis shoes that looked very discolored over his pants. And he was wearing those shoes because some rich boy rejected those shoes because of a hole in them. The steel canister seemed heavier than the plastic bag he carried so lightly over his shoulder. Explained. This is metaphoric. So when he was a rag picker, he was his own master. But now he has started working in a milk booth. Although he is getting 800 rupees per month and he is getting all his meals, still his face has lost their carefree look. क्योंकि अभी तक वो आज़ाद था और अब वो किसी के अंडर काम कर रहा है. Moving on to the next story, Mukesh. Tell something about the bangle makers of Firozabad. The bangle makers of Firozabad live in a perpetual state of poverty. Children slog their daylight hours working near furnaces wherein they end up losing their eyesight. And before they become adults, they have accepted that profession as naturally as their father. If you're finding it difficult to understand what I am saying, what are these questions, what answers she is saying, it's really difficult, please check my YouTube channel wherein you will find detailed description of all the chapters. It is his karma, his destiny. Who says this and why? This was said by Mukesh's grandmother who had seen her own husband going blind because of working in glass bangle making industry. और वो ये कहती है कि can a God given lineage ever be broken? ये तो ईश्वर द्वारा दिया गया है. जहाँ हम जन्म लेते हैं वो हम निर्धारित नहीं करते. यहाँ जन्म लेना हमारे कर्मों का फल है और जीवन भर हमें इसे बेयर करना है. ऐसा मुकेश की दादी कहती हैं. The cry of not having enough money to do anything except carry on the business of making bangles, not even enough to eat rings in every home. ये दुख के क्या करेंगे, जिंदगी जीवन यापन कैसे होगा, ये हर घर में ये ही गूंज सुनाई देती है. And before the child grows up to raise his voice, he accepts it as naturally as his father. Why don't you organize yourself into cooperatives? Explain. So somebody asked Mukesh that when you are so troubled, annoyed, why don't you organize yourself into cooperative and raise your voice against the system? So Mukesh said that even if we try to do so, we would be ones who would be held up by the police for doing something wrong, and this shows the level of corruption. Listening to them, I see two distinct worlds. Which are the two distinct worlds? One world is of Mukesh and his family and people like him, and another world is of sahukaras, policemen, middlemen, bureaucrats. Together, they have imposed a baggage on the child which he cannot put down. And how is Mukesh's attitude different from his family? Mukesh has dream in his eyes, and he has a dream that he wants to accomplish, and still there is a hope. We never know whether he would be able to achieve what he wants to achieve, but there's a hope. Although his hope, his dream looms like a mirage amidst the dust-filled streets of Firozabad. So this is it with chapter 1 and 2. We will be meeting in yet another video to discuss some more important questions. Again reminding you, if you are finding it difficult to understand कि कौन से questions ये मैडम बोल रही है, क्या आंसर बोल रही है, कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, please check my YouTube videos wherein you will get detailed analysis of all the chapters. Take care.